Rolling These 20s presents Philly by Night. Starring Liz as La Sombra Dr. Aretza Ser. Fair as Samdi Katora Baptiste. Ivy as Bruja Serenity Sanchez. Juice as Tremere Adelio. Mikey Mike as Bano Hakim Mingo. Lonzo Gonzo as Ravnos Oscar de Leon Ponce. And our weaver of disquietude and terror, Prince.
This evening on Real Vampires of Philadelphia, our coterie confronts many of the issues that they may have started or may have just been innocent bystanders. A dead detective in a bodega, a mysterious note to take them to Elysium, and drama within their ranks, as there might be an infiltrator among them. Find out what happens tonight. Roll these 20s. Philly Nights. And we are live. The Zoom chat is like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh wait, no, I didn't transition screens. Now we're live. Good enough. Y'all can still hear us. It was fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. I'm professional. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly by Night. We're rolling these 20s, John. I'm your storyteller, Prince, also known as Dimples and Dice around the internet. My pronouns are he, him, and I am happy to welcome y'all to our story tonight. Before we get up and running, I do want to say thank you to Rolling These 20s, or not Rolling These 20s, Roll 20, for having us to be a part of their Spotlight program. We appreciate them for letting us use their VTT, as well as the content that they have available on Roll20. Y'all should go check them out at roll20.net. Next thing I want to clear up is our content warning. Rolling These 20s Philly by Night may contain scenes of violence, gore, flesh crafting, body horror, mind control, loss of character agency, gaslighting, some sexual-ish things, best way I can put it, and other adult content that may be disturbing to viewers. Please take care of yourselves. All of our players, as well as myself, have agreed to what content is we're able to take on. And if we run into any issues, we'll be using our green, yellow, and red cards, or Uno cards for some of us. And you might see them flash across the screen, as well as markers. So we've covered that with our players. If something goes off the rails, as this is a live show, it is possible to happen. We will take a break or stop the show, even if that is what is necessary. So do keep that in mind. If there's something that happens that makes you feel uncomfortable, please feel free to take a break. Come back and watch our show at your leisure on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel, Rolling These 20s, where you can find all of our episodes there from season 3 on. So with that said, let's let our coterie introduce themselves, and I will start with Liz.
Hey, I'm Liz. I will be playing... I'm sorry, I completely blacked out there for a second. I will be playing the La Sombra, Dr. Aretza Ser. Both of us use she, her pronouns.
Excellent. Fair.
Hi, I'm Fair. I'll be playing Katura Baptiste, your Hakata social media influencer, and our pronouns are she, her.
Lonzo.
How are we doing? I am Lonzo Gonzo. I will be playing Oscar de Leon Ponce, our techno hacker, Council of Oscar head member, Ravnos kindred, pronouncing him for both of us.
My boss.
Yes, my boss. Big boss man.
Oh my God. Mikey Mike will not be with us this evening, but yeah, he plays Mingo when he's here, and we'll probably reference Mingo a few times this episode. Moving on, let's let Juice, how about you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Juice, no pronouns, just Juice, and I'll be playing Aurelio Valentin, who uses he, him, and she, her pronouns, our Tremere, club owner, and BFFs with Mingo.
Yeah, something like that.
hmm Especially nowadays.
True. Last but certainly not least, Ivy.
Hi, I'm Ivy. I'll be playing Serenity Sanchez, the lady Bruja who also is apparently a boss of something. She's still figuring her shit out. We'll worry about it in game.
Yeah, and Serenity uses she, her, and Ivy uses they, them pronouns. So let's hop right into our recap. Liz, you ready to take this on? Nope.
So I actually didn't rewatch, so y'all might actually have to
okay.
fill me in on some stuff. We started off being attacked by a zombie linebacker who knocked Serenity, Katura, and Aurelio into a wall, causing what sounded like a very tiny localized earthquake. Was dazed. Serenity dragged it into an alleyway. Mingo, Oscar, and Ari were still upstairs. They come kind of strolling out. Mingo with a little more vigor. The zombie linebacker tries taking a swing at Katura, at somebody in the alleyway. Think they get a chunk. Mingo comes over, chops it in half, and it ashes basically immediately, indicating that it was probably pretty old. We go back upstairs. We talk about why Oscar does some interesting hacker things and manages to pull up a video showing that it had been following the tracks or the scent or something, trying to follow Serenity and Ari, or Serenity's bike, which Ari was riding on, and had just been kind of tracking that back and forth. I think that was pretty much where the group split up for the evening. Oh no, Oscar at some point during this had a vision of him shaking down an old shop owner because this universe's original Oscar believed he was Oscar Prime, and our Oscar is now living in his body, who also believes that he is Oscar Prime. Apparently divergent timelines, and now I don't want to say they're both in the body because that gets real weird, but our Oscar is now taken over the body.
This was also the same conversation where Mingo got up in our business and we had to tell them everything.
Time travel secrets out.
How did I forget that?
Did that happen while I was like going through my little?
That
happened at the same time while you were doing while you had that flashback. We were having that conversation.
Right.
Wow.
So I totally forgot that happened. Ooh. So we also spilled the beans on being time travelers from a different dimension, which I still can't say with a straight face, even though it's true. Aurelio seemed to believe us. Mingo, it was tense. It was tense because Mingo came at us sideways and we didn't appreciate it.
Mingo did say he believed y'all.
He said he believed us. It was tense either way. And I think that was basically where we split up. Katura, uncomfortable with going back to her penthouse, came and crashed at Ari's for the night. Serenity went home, checked on her ghoul. They argued about Fruity Pebbles for a minute. And I believe you did. I believe that was it until then. Oh, and Oscar found his haven proper, which is Nerd Tech Central. Very cool. And in the basement, behind a great many heavily locking doors, apparently this universe's version of Oscar was trying to make a frickin' portal to time travel or dimension hop or something. Not that Oscar has told us that yet, but that did happen. Next night, everybody wakes up and Marie, Katura's ghoul, gives her a call and says, you either need to get down to the bodega or do not go near the bodega. Katura, being in Ari's house, is like, we got to go down to the bodega. And away they go down to the bodega. We call Serenity on the way, and Serenity meets us down there. As we peek in through the grating, there is a dead body of a cop laying on the floor of the bodega. Panic ensues, slightly. as Aurelio meets us down there after hearing rumor that there's some shit going down at the bodega. Mingo, because Mike had to leave, Mingo texts and is like, I'm staying out of this nonsense. And so we all kind of like scurry into the bodega where one of the barons meets us. I forgot dude's name.
It was Kelvin.
Kelvin, thank you.
Kelvin was there.
Kelvin meets us and he's like, oh, I came to help. And he takes one look and realizes it's a cop and he's like, I'm going to go because I'm not messing with that. And he leaves after Aurelio invites him out to a thing that next weekend or in the future soon.
Yeah, TBD.
Yeah, soon. We go back and forth a little bit. We call Oscar, ask him to pull the videos, ask him, where are you? What are you doing? And with about 10 minutes left, we start hearing sirens, lots of sirens, and possibly helicopters as Katura sits down and does a very interesting ritual that basically ashes the body and the blood and everything else. And we get rid of it and we sneak out the back of the bodega and leave.
Aurelio fan days.
Most of us jump into Katura and Ari jump into Oscar's car.
My Audi TT.
Yes, Oscar's very nice car. We are snug. And Aurelio kind of strolls down the block, keeping an eye and trying to figure out how things are looking. Come to find out that this officer, their partner, had called in that they were missing. But we had seen that on the security camera that Oscar had pulled, it was the really tall Zimishi who had tossed him in there and was basically leaving a warning for us for messing with his stuff. Yeah. I believe is basically what it boiled down to.
It's also important to know that the dead cop and the cop that called in were both the detectives that questioned Ari and Serenity the night before.
Right. We all head back to our pretty much everybody goes to Katura's, and as we walk in, there's another letter on the floor. Katura has a minor panic attack, and Serenity opens the letter, and it is once again an invite to Elysium. And that was basically where we left off.
Yeah. Y'all were talking a little bit about what versions of yourselves that this Timisi or Sabat could be after. But y'all have had a couple of days of relative peace. Ish. I know Ari had surgeries lined up, but the rest of you didn't have anything particularly pressing. And I suspect that all of you, knowing how things work, knowing how the shitstorms never seem to stop, feel like this is the calm before the storm. But maybe this is the calm you need for the moment. So it's been 2 days. What have you all been up to over this time period? And I will start with Serenity.
Okay. I would probably want to be running the bar. I actually have to learn to do that. And I'd also probably be checking to see more into the Anarch connections I got and who is who, because there are still some unknown people in my phone that I need to figure out. Like who's the Baron? Who is that Baron? So
no one seems to know who the Baron is in your phone. That's your own naming mechanism. And maybe the way you've just communicated with this person. But they're like, it could be the Baron, the North, South.
Could be any Baron.
West Philly.
The only one
Baron of like Camden. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. So that was just gonna be a mystery until they pop up. Okay. I mean, mostly it would probably just be localized to the bar and just trying to get used to the establishment that she has set and how to act like she owns it.
Sure. And Serenity, as you work the bar over the last 2 days, you notice that while this place attracts other kindred, and Gabriella sort of helped you. She doesn't know exactly how you want to run this place. She knows, obviously, that you are not the Serenity she knew before, but she's trying to help you out.
Which I appreciate.
But people come looking to you for advice, for like petty shit. Like, I got in a squabble with these Thin Bloods down the street, and they said that they had permission from you to do a certain thing, and you gave them permission, and now they stepping over the line. Can you come handle this for us? That sort of thing. So you found yourself over the last couple of days, basically more than anything else at the bar, squashing beefs.
I don't mind. Serenity does not mind. Like, okay, petty shit I can handle. This is not gonna kill anybody if I do this incorrectly, probably.
Because you quickly get the vibe that Anarch is used in a very loose term. Y'all are not a group exactly. Y'all just have similar sort of ideals. And the ideal of freedom means freedom. But you do sort of sketch out like ways to handle problems. You're not a baron, which makes it easier for you to actually help with these things, because some of the barons get into their own petty shit themselves, and they don't necessarily have time. So people come to you, and the barons come to you too, occasionally.
Okay, cool.
But Serenity, I would imagine, and this will have some material benefit, you have built up a network of people. You got some retainers, not ghouls, some runner boys, essentially, humans that do work for you. And you also have contacts. So just keep that in mind. You'll have 2 dots of contacts and 3 dots of retainers.
Okay.
That's going to get added to your sheet.
Okay.
There's going to be another thing, but we'll talk about that off screen.
Okay.
Moving on. Aurelio, you got a business to run, and I think you would potentially put on a performance in this period of time. Perhaps. Up to you.
Not unless it's been a month since the last time I was at church. I don't perform at my own club.
You're right. I forgot about that. My bad. What would you have done over the last few days?
I was just writing down some of these things that I probably would have done. One of which would have been, first of all, I would have reached out to the folks that I could, whose number I had in the among the time travelers, I guess, offering, like, if anybody wants to talk about like any context of where we're at now, to try and make sense of what's going on. Like, I'm available if anybody wants to kind of see what I might know about them in this timeline.
Excellent.
To kind of help smooth things over. I would have gone back to my library to research blood rituals after what I saw Katura do, and be pretty amazed by that. Just to kind of brush up, and I can't do any of this yet, but to see what is out there, what this could have been. I don't know if we're at the point where I could come straight up and like ask Couture what that was about, but just kind of fangirling and seeing what I can learn about similar things, the use of blood magic. And then that would probably stir up some other thoughts in my head around the use of blood for blood magic or related rituals and the like. And if these are, in fact, if what they're saying is true, like, could their blood be different than or their Vita be different than other kindred? What might that mean for a broad spectrum of things, like how it affects blood magic, how it might help with, some of the things that I've seen and experienced in my life, and starting to write down notes and think back on like people that I may have interviewed that have made reference to like inconsistencies in their blood magic practices and so on and so forth. People that have experienced different kinds of diseases and whatnot. And lastly, I think the other thing outside of running the business would have been to kind of check in with my mala, to get like an update on how folks feel about Elysium in my circles.
The word,
and I would share with I would share with my walla that like I may be able to attend, but I also don't want that to like ruin my street cred.
Yeah, the word on Elysium is tension. It is very tense situation right now. They are. I think this would be fair that you get this from your mala. They believe that the prince is going to do something potentially drastic in order to curtail, what could be a Sabbat incursion and to head off any potential problems with the Second Inquisition. But no one knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I would also mention like I not with much evidence, but that I had the thought popped into my head that there may have been some Second Inquisition involvement with this. And I would ask, like, would it be wise for me to go and find out? I know that we don't really play into all this politic bullshit, but it might also help to kind of make sure that they stay out of our business down here.
I think your Malwa's response would be only if you're trying to keep your face concealed, essentially. Because if you go, other Tremere in the city might get an idea who you are, and they'll want to talk to you.
Why?
Because you're one of them, whether you like it or not.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Anything else?
I think I would wait until I would not have used these couple of days to take Kelvin over with me to the salon. That would have been a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get to that then. All right.
And of course, I would have spent some time meditating over my prized crystal.
Perfect. Cool. Let's move over to our man of many faces. Oscar.
What Oscar would have done is Oscar's going to work on that, make sense of the paper that Ari gave him a while back when we first got here. So he's going to try and make sense of that, see if this is something that's possible. Because I did mention
what's on that paper.
Oh, jeez. Ari, remind Oscar what's on that paper.
Is that
the
the
text,
one?
the nano stuff to get you to be able to use technology?
The Oblivion Faraday cage.
Yep. That's it.
So that's what you've been working on?
I'm trying to make sense of it, see if this is something that's feasible within this timeline. If that's something that I might, if there's someone that this Oscar may know that he trusts that might be able to work on this. Or if this is something that Elvira might be able to like put together.
I think, Oscar, you should roll me a intelligence and technology.
Of course. Yeah, I'll do the first roll tonight. I'm not scared.
And I also want 2 rolls from you. I'm
All
gonna
right.
see how these turn out. Intelligence, technology, and intelligence and occult. Both of those rolls.
I can tell you right now that in the cult one is that not going to work. We'll do that. Nice to roll. That is all right. This is the in tech one. What's the difficulty for this?
No difficulty. I'm just trying to see how many successes you get.
All right.
Four successes. Okay.
And then you said in an occult, right?
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Two successes. Okay. So Oscar, you have a few ideas and you working on sketching out a few prototypes. Putting one of these together in this short amount of time, not necessarily feasible. But what you've essentially tried to do is test out a bunch of different sort of wireless communication bands, essentially. Because the way you think this could potentially work is that you find a band of radio waves that will not be fucked with by Oblivion, essentially, and Lasombra is being in touch with it. Problem that you run into is that, well, you need someone who has Oblivion to really test this out, to see how much it fucks up. And finding a band that they don't fuck with. So you might be off to a good start, but you don't know for sure until you have a Lasombra that you can test this with.
All right. What else I want to do is look over Oscar Prime's book. Read that. I'm going to be studying this for a few days. And while doing that, taking backups of all the computer systems that he has. Take a backup of Elvira. Find the other havens that Oscar has, and also see the progress of this Oscar's portal work, the portal project, where they got the different items from, most likely from other dimensions they visited in. If he's been working with anyone on this project, this has just been a solo thing that he's been doing.
So the one thing that stands out, without having to make any roll for this, is that this Oscar has basically not just killed the other Oscars and diablerized them. This Oscar tortured them for any bit of knowledge that they had. He was basically taking them, finding different ways to torture them to get out whatever information that he could to learn about portals. Problem is, the Oscars that he dealt with, for the most part, are very similar to him. And they're all pretty sociopathic assholes. And so he didn't get a ton of knowledge. And you see the writing that he has on working on this is just getting more and more sort of unhinged. But he gets little bits from each one of them through diablerie or torture that may or may not help him. The big thing you get that you saw that was very interesting to you in there is that it has the rune shapes essentially from the portal that looks very similar to the one y'all came through when y'all first did y'all dimension diving.
All right. And those are like transcribed on his actual one he built.
Yeah. As far as you can tell, they do nothing, but
if there's any way I can alter a rune or two on them to ensure that it doesn't work, and also do the same thing, whatever notes or schematics that he has to kind of like mimic that too. So that way, if he goes back and looks for it, it all matches up. It's like, oh no, it is supposed to be that.
Oh, so you're gonna change the runes? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You don't have to make a roll for that.
And
All
I
that would
think
take is just a little bit of time to erase and basically rewrite them and do the same on the portal itself.
And other than that, like I said, the only thing I want to do is figure out where else this homie was staying, his other havens.
You have a map of them. There's various different havens across the city from the looks of it, but this is the primary workplace.
Right. Because I would need to know that. Other than that, that's all. I think that's all Oscar's going to do.
Oh, one more thing that you notice, Oscar, is that this Oscar does not share your feeding habits. This Oscar takes people.
I'm going to see if I could get in contact with someone that just bags, maybe the bodega. So I'll just pop down to the bodega, stock up on a couple bags, see if anyone needs anything while I'm down there.
Okay. So we'll come back to that later. Katura. Miss Baptiste.
Hello.
How have you
Yes.
been spending your days? Last couple of days away from
well,
vampiric drama.
Well, I absolutely have not been staying in my penthouse because it still makes me uncomfortable. So I think I'm like going between like Ari's and Serenity's, and just kind of like inviting myself over, just like one of those, like that friend who like just broke up and doesn't want to go home but won't leave. I think I'm doing all like whatever meetings that I have, attending those. At some point I will have a meeting with Marie and my other ghoul and like just tell them what's going on, because they're going to find out per Serenity by tasting my blood. They're going to know, so I might as well just tell them right now. I'm also house shopping. I'm on Zillow a lot. Looking at neighborhoods, trying to find a new place because I don't want to stay in my penthouse anymore.
Interesting. Are you looking for anything in specific or any place in the city in specific?
Two places I'm looking for, which I'm looking at, which I honestly can't think of the names right now. That cute little place with the cemetery that you showed me, and then Chestnut Hill or something like that.
Chestnut Hills.
Yeah, so I'm looking in those two places.
Okay. You got promising leads for sure. Expensive as shit, but that's not really that big of a problem for you. But yeah, you definitely have some promising leads in both of these places. And while it is a very competitive housing market, being able to pay in cash if need be, definitely puts you ahead of the pack. So
yeah,
look into the
I'm
the
stereotyped.
housing.
Yeah. I think I would also, like, in addition to staying with Ari and Serenity, I think maybe at one point I do stay with TJ, but also to try to get like any insight on like this Elysium, if it's possible, because it might not be, but I'd like try to like link up with him, to one, so I don't have to go to my penthouse, and two, just so I can maybe like gauge what's going on.
How do you approach that? I'm actually interested in how you approach coming to him, because at this point he has not really sent you any messages or anything, and it's safe to assume why.
Yeah. So is he normally the one who initiates the
Based
meetup?
on your messages that you've gotten, yes.
Okay. Even though I know it might look strange, like I think most of it is she doesn't want to be at her penthouse. So she's just kind of like, but she doesn't want to admit to people that she doesn't want to be at her penthouse. So she would be like, she probably just sent him like a similar message that he sent her, like Netflix and chill, or are you you up, or like, are you busy tonight, something like that.
You did get a response. It takes several hours, but you get a response, and the response is basically, I would love to, but I can't right now. Things are a bit too wild. After Elysium, we can get into it.
Okay. She'll respect that. She's not gonna like push, obviously. But she'll say like, I get the sense that things are going on. Like, I'm not entirely sure what this is all about, but like, if you like at least need to like talk to somebody who's not like around you all the time, like you can always, you can reach out to me. Like, it's whatever.
And you get a message back that says, thank you. You don't know how much that means, but it means the world to me.
Yeah. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll like send like a heart emoji, I guess. I don't know. And then just leave it at that. Yeah. So like in that way too, like if the others be like, hey, can you find out what's going on? I'm like, I fucking tried. We're just gonna have to find out then.
Yep.
And then lastly, I would take Aurelio up on her offer to talk things out, but I would suggest doing it as a group. That way we all know what the moving pieces are at the same time. And so we kind of gauge like together what, if anything, we need to do.
Great. We're going to get to that. What about Ari?
Probably like anytime Katura's around, one asks about you just dissolved a body, how? Because that was interesting and it looked similar to other stuff. So probably tries to just, talk back and forth, almost talk shop. Like, I see you know Oblivion things. Please let us discuss Oblivion things. That kind of thing when Katura is around, just because it's not everything that's going on right now. Almost obviously changing the subject. When Katura's not around, Ari's probably down in the labs, and she'll bring Snake Eyes down if he wants to or not. And it's just like, I think I learned something new, and just, practicing the bone spikes, which hurts like hell. So she's probably hunting more than is normal for her. And then she's doing what she usually does when things are chaos, and going through old notes, looking through the stuff she did manage to bring back that she wasn't supposed to, and seeing how that lines up with the stuff that was here, seeing what she can use, what she can't, what she needs, other things that she does not have, so that has to be gotten rid of. Kind of just working.
Yeah, Ari, I think the notes that you've taken basically from your future self to now actually helps to inform you exactly how good you are at what you do and masking what you do, especially in the mortal world. Supernatural world is a little bit funkier, but as you dig more into this, what you find is that you've basically been sedating other kindred that have grievous wounds. You're basically using people as your morphine bags, essentially. Sometimes it's easier to use animals, your pigs. But generally you've been using people because they are more plentiful in a big city like Philadelphia. You've gotten a lot better at your flesh crafting. A lot better.
If I'm doing face surgery, yes.
And what you've learned from your future self is you could probably get even better than that if you had a mentor.
Not this again. God damn it. All right.
Because you have the feeling that looking over all these notes from this Ari from the future, she had somebody really help her. And it wasn't just Dracula, it was others.
Right.
How she got the others is not really explained, but you can take a guess.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Ari is very, very, very ambitious.
And had no reason to not just join up with the Sabbat like she did. So it's like, well, if I'm gonna work with you, obviously you're going to help me. Okay. And then one other thing, reading all of this, reading what alternate version of Ari did, just quick, I don't know, intelligence, history, whatever. Elysium is one of those things that the Camarilla would not break, right? Those rules. Short of, like, we've seen it broken where you're not supposed to use your powers unless there's an attack or something. But it's not like, a prince would be like, everybody please gather at Elysium and then just burn the building down around them, right?
No, that's
Okay.
the Camarilla is not ones. Not to say they would never, ever, ever sabotage themselves in such a way, but it would be something incredibly dramatic to cause something like that to happen. It seems incredibly unlikely
Okay.
from what
good,
you've
good,
been
good.
able to find out about this city so far, but nothing is impossible.
We're not there yet. Okay, good.
You
Yeah,
don't get the
that's-
vibe that the Elysium was called to blow everybody up. Put it like that.
Wipe everybody out and start fresh. We can't do this.
You don't
You
don't
know,
get
not
that vibe.
everybody thinks like y'all.
Well, they should.
I do have
They
a
should.
question. Have our superficial wounds healed since then?
I would
Since
say
we
you've
got
had an
body-
opportunity to
Yeah,
heal
okay.
your superficial wounds and eat.
Okay.
So everyone will start at 1 hunger as we go into this next night. And since Aurelio invited you all to convene, I think that's what we're going to have y'all join up. How y'all get there, whatever, up to you. But let's start off this evening with a rouse check. Success. Failure from Ari, of course. Success. God damn. Somebody's got it. Oh, one more failure. Who are we missing? Yes. Ari and Serenity. So Ari. The voice in your head. The beast. It's different. It's not Brayden anymore. It's not that nice, honestly. This one is more dark, terrifying. It's more like a rumble, a growl, a monster. And Ari, thing is, a lot of times you're working, feels pretty close. Almost makes you better at your work. And it's just a low rumble. Doctor, you take and you take and you take. Why stop now? Your husband, you don't have time for husbands. You are just like me. Destroy him and begin your descent into being the best version of yourself.
What did you too?
What'd you say? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
I just said good morning to you too.
Fair enough.
And before you jump, one more thing.
Mhm.
Has there been any sign or anything of this universe's Brayden?
No.
Letter, anything? Okay, cool.
None.
That's all I.
None so far. Serenity. Serenity. Clearly, you've missed out on the fact that you are the most badass person around. You need to just embrace it. That brouhaha rage that is inside of you, that you keep bottled up, it is right Here, I am right here. We could take this whole city. Genghis was a clown. Remember Genghis? Remember how he took over a museum and called himself king? You don't need to call yourself king. You could be the king. All you have to do is destroy those people that keep holding you back. Ari could be useful. Maybe Katura. Maybe if you could break her mind.
Serenity just grabs a stress ball and crushes it. I'm not giving in any time soon. And I go get Gabrielle. I'm going to Aurelio's because we're doing a meeting thing. You coming? Or are you asleep?
Cool. So, dear friends, how are y'all convenient? Are y'all just going straight to Aurelio's after seeing this message? Are you delaying, trying to get anything done? Are you bringing ghouls? Are you bringing a Paco?
I want to bring. Also, I have a question about Paco. Do I have to ghoul him? What do I have to do with him?
Paco is ghouled, so you would have to feed Paco your blood as well.
Okay. Just let me know when I need to do that. Or do I do that now? Whichever we want to. However we keep track of it, we keep track of it. Is my point.
I'm kind of hand waving the feeding of the ghouls, but up to y'all.
I mean, Aurelia knows about Paco. I don't know if Aurelia would like Paco at her club, so that's. No, I'm sorry. Would send the message. Can I bring Paco?
Peacock on a motorcycle.
Okay, Serenity would have gotten him a booster seat. Okay.
I'm gonna get a text
He
from
gets obviously you get
Paco
a
has
sidecar
helmet
and
with
put
the side. Yeah.
yeah, you put it in a sidecar.
Okay, I would have gotten him a little sidecar or something.
We
that
have
would
put
keep him
this poor peacock in so many ridiculous outfits. It may as well be a chihuahua.
Paco got
Cute.
a
Get him a
racing
cute
jacket.
little- Please get him a cute little motorcycle jacket, like a cute little like.
as long as he accepts wearing it, yes, he will get all of those things. But I know means will Serenity force him into an outfit he does not want to wear, because that is not cool.
Paco's particular about his fashion, so he doesn't wear everything you give him.
No, that's fine.
He will go through the closet and pick the outfit that works for him.
That honestly fine. I don't have to maintain a bird's outfit. That's one thing I don't have to worry about. Fine.
How does this bird not belong to Katura?
does Paco have
Serenity
more
claimed him.
followers than Serenity on Twitter? That's my
100%.
question.
Absolutely.
Oh, probably. You say that Serenity cares about Twitter followers.
Two things. One, I want to answer your question, respond to your text in character, but also I know that Ari mentioned another person, like referenced Salvador without saying Salvador. Is that correct? You didn't mention a name?
We did mention Salvador existed.
I think I said his name.
Okay.
Or their name.
Their name. my bad.
Does Aurelio know that the peacock was connected to Salvador?
I think, to be fair,
I don't know
Ari
if y'all explained
was.
that.
I think Ari said, and now we have their damn peacock, but
yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
know how
then-
clear that was because she was all over the place.
Peacock was a friend. You don't know the details of how we acquired the peacock.
So then I would have also spent some of that time after they clarified all that as well, Googling to see if anybody is randomly looking for a lost peacock. Any kindred looking for a lost peacock?
Not that you found.
Okay.
Nothing on Craigslist. Where else would you find that?
Reddit.
Cool. So
Reddit.
I would respond and say as much as I love Paco, I'm not willing to risk any health code violations. So
Fair enough.
sorry, but no.
Okay, Paco, I'll come get you later if we go back to the bodega. Okay?
Paco, having gotten himself all dressed to go out,
Oh.
racing jacket is frustrated and gives you the
Why you
tail,
can go get people to take pictures of you in front of the bodega?
and then go sit
I-
next to Gabriella as she plays on the PS5.
I think the
Jesus.
bodega is still closed.
Oh, this is
The bodega's
true.
a crime scene.
The bodega is still closed. It's been 2 days, but unless y'all are pushing to make sure that y'all can open the bodega like yesterday, they're not.
That's fine.
She's got.
It's fine. Gabs, you want anything or are you coming with?
She looks over at Paco, takes out a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and is like, "Nah, I think we good."
Cool. Have fun. And I go,
Paco is side-eyeing the fuck out of you.
blame the owner, okay? Fuck off. I would take to bring you.
I think I'm gonna bring Marie.
Okay.
Cancel all those meetings, girl. Those motherfuckers can wait.
Oscar is texting, has 3 suits laid out on the bed or over the coffin rather, and is texting pictures to Paco's like, which one do I wear? Like, I gotta keep up appearances. Which one looks best?
I feel offended. Katura just feels offended for no reason.
I know Katura has a lot on her plate.
Some random person in Paco in this
You need to-
timeline is receiving pictures of suits.
She would send us to Soraya and be like, show him to Paco, and Soraya would hold the phone up to Paco.
All
and
right.
be like,
How
"Tom."
about this? I have a group text of Paco and Katura.
Yeah,
Asking
Katura has
which-
a lot on her plate, which means give her things to distract her because she doesn't want to deal with them right now.
That means that basically that Serenity and Gabriella are in this text because Paco does not have a phone of his own.
No,
Not yet.
So it'd be
Not yet.
Katura, Serenity, and
Can we
Gabriella.
please
always-
get Paco an Apple Watch so he can just pick which picture
Oh
by
my
Oh
text?
my god,
God.
absolutely.
And just wears it as a
Yes.
choker.
Yeah, it's just a locket.
We need someone needs to draw us and put it on a shirt, please.
Paco picks the blue pinstripe Tom Ford.
I just
Yeah.
put over a thumbs up emoji. And whatever car looks a little feels good for like a Friday, Saturday night, that's the one Oscar's going to pick.
Hmm.
So you're trying to pick the panty dropper car? Is that what we're hearing?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah. So yes, the way you started means
Not
yes.
necessarily.
Oh my god.
And so you're looking, and you see the car that you know you want to roll in. You wanna bring out something incredibly sexy, and you see the perfect car. It is a 1964 Porsche 911,
Mm.
perfect condition, forest green.
I approve. I say to myself, I don't have to like him, but he does have good taste in cars.
It's a James Bond car.
Oscar, by the way, you need to bump your resources up to 4.
All right.
Cool. All right. Anything else before y'all meet up with Aurelia? And where are y'all meeting exactly?
Yeah, that wasn't clear. Where are we meeting?
I am actually thinking about that. Can I roll for this? I don't know if I want to either meet at Genesis or meet at my place.
You tell me.
Uh,
I will not force
I
this.
assumed the club because no birds.
might
You
just
know what? Yeah,
you
that
might
I did
also
say
move.
that. So let's say that. And I will check in with Mingo and make sure that Ale is working and kind of.
I will add, this is very early in the evening. This would probably be like 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, we're not ready yet. So yeah, that's fine.
You can
meet
you
there.
could you have the place basically to yourself before it's up and running for the night, essentially.
Yeah, also be good at you know, enjoy stay for a late drink at the happy birthday bar. Come by a little bit later.
Mingo sends you like a response, and it's the wrong emoji, and so he sends you like another emoji. One's like a traffic cone, the other's like a stop sign. Then he finally gets the thumbs up. It's like, I fucking hate these phones.
I feel like I'm out of character. I feel like I'm fine. Like I, as a player, am finally experiencing what you all experienced with Delroy.
Yes,
So I never got to play with Delroy.
exactly.
Cool.
Except Delroy was worse because Delroy would just get himself into trouble and then have to be bailed out constantly.
At least Mingo can fight his way out, at least.
Cool. So y'all are meeting at the club.
Yes.
Genesis. Y'all make your way there. I'm gonna skip over a lot of the hey, we all arrive at a bunch of different times. You're just gonna basically all get there around the same time. And are you greeting them directly?
I'll have Ale let me know. I'll be in my library, and I'll have Ale kind of come and get me once everybody is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you all can, I guess, make use of your own time, make yourself comfortable, whatever you need to. There's not going to be anything really happening. It will technically be open, but ain't nobody going to be here at 8 o'clock. And once folks are there, then I'll stop kind of perusing my books, stop writing down my list of questions and ideas and thoughts. And yeah, then I'll go out and greet folks. The music is playing kind of lightly. It's like, oh, everyone's here. I'm glad that you all can make it. It's good to see you all. I know it's been a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always at least one dude who goes to the club real early and is just on the dance floor.
Oh no,
by
this is
himself.
before the club opens sort of times. This is where
Oh,
people are
okay.
still setting up. The lights are on. You've probably never seen the club like this before. You'd have to see details on the walls, that sort of thing.
Yeah, though. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it like this before because we've only been here once.
Y'all have never made it to last call.
And I'm assuming that La Coutura did not post about their arrival, so ain't nobody here.
I think even Katura would like have gone in through the back just to be on the safe side.
I think that's fair. That makes sense.
All of y'all coming in through the back makes sense.
Would this be Oscar's first time here?
No,
Yep,
you
right?
were with us before.
No,
Where
because
is
when
yours?
we met Calvin, Oscar wasn't there.
I don't
Right.
think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I'm thinking about something else. I think.
No, it's fine.
So then I guess I would greet, or Ale would greet you out front. And
Ale
yeah,
would be
we would
like,
all gather probably in that same booth.
Oscar will probably go through the front door, not knowing.
Yeah.
Go through the back.
Totally.
you get
And
stopped by
out of
staff
character, I
like,
forgot.
who are you?
You don't know who I am?
No, you look like you got money, so do you
Yeah.
own the, like, are you like trying to speak to the owner, or there's just somebody out there with like a bucket and a mop? Like, I thought we had
Hold
the
the
door locked.
here. Look, I'm just going to head in there. Clearly, you're doing a good
Ale
job.
just comes in, it's like, it's fine, it's fine. He's supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to come through this entrance. But it's okay. You can,
Oh,
and then she
we'll
points
see.
you to the floor and then the stairs up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and then I will be.
I'm assuming you're
I
not
guess,
taking them to the library.
We're not I'm not telling them where the library is, but
Okay.
I think that is where we would meet.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So you'd have to take them there because Ale is just
yes.
kind of like sending them to you towards the VIP area / your
Yeah. Well,
office.
yeah. I mean, my out of character, I believe that like technically, like there are some other kindred that do use this library as well.
Mhm.
So it's not exactly like it's like secret to the mortals, but not necessarily secret to like
Sure.
the kindred who are in the know. And it's more secure than I would say like my office, for example. So that's where I would probably want to have a conversation about this stuff.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, we go through a couple of like winding hallways, and there's like a nondescript door that is hidden behind some like ordinary decor, some like planks of wood that are just purely decorative, but around like pulling that out and entering our way behind that, there's another small little hallway, and I would explain to you all that we're meeting in a more secure location. And so there is eventually, excuse me, a room that's probably as large as like the main space of the club. It almost looks like it's a separate business, and it looks like a bookstore, let's say. And it's not just books. There's books and some other stuff that's secure behind glass and whatnot, of varying lots of different lighting. It's sparse but filled, if that makes sense. Like minimalist approach to designing this place, but there's a lot of information in here, a lot of books that you would notice, and some seating areas, some desks and tables. But as we come in, as everyone approaches and comes in, I would make sure that it's secured. I would kind of make sure that Ale knows that we're going to be in here, and to emergencies only. Let me know if something's up.
There is one person down
Who is
here.
it? Since I
It's a
would know.
woman studying a book. She's relatively new. Only been here maybe like 2 or 3 times. She's
Okay.
been showing up
What
more
what's her
recently.
name?
Her name is Alexa. Doesn't tell you a whole ton about herself, but she is cordial. She's talked to everybody here, and she's basically a knowledge seeker, is the way she's described herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I did not say that I did this, but I would have kind of wanted to go through to make sure maybe they we can say that they skipped my peripheral scan to make sure that this was a private location before I brought everybody here, as was the intention.
Yeah. You're not exactly sure how she got in here without setting anyone off. But it's not super weird to have someone kind of show up, because various powers of vampires, this is not entirely unheard of.
Yeah, sure. So I would like to use my awe and try and persuade Alexa. Thank Alexa for coming and hoping that she's finding whatever it is that she seeks. The library is currently reserved for a private discussion. You're welcome to come back another time, but for now, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Can you roll for your awe for me? It's gonna be charisma and persuasion, and I'll give you +2. So basically, you can take 2 successes, or you can roll them if you want to go crit fishing.
I'm gonna roll them because I think gives me +3 dice to these charisma rolls. Oh, maybe I should just take the 2 successes.
You?
Question for you. Could I stack awe and entrancement?
Those technically fall into 2 different spots, if I'm not mistaken. Because entrancement more of a
Oh, it's the same.
active
It's basically the same thing.
Right.
I'll just take the 2 successes. So charisma and persuasion.
Mm-hmm. Actually, really curious about how this is going to play out.
Difficulty, I'm just going to put 0 since I don't really know.
Because you're rolling against her essentially. 3 successes.
Willpower.
Got it.
Okay, so again, I always forget how this works. So I open my character sheet, and now
On these sheets, hold up.
It's different now too. So
Yeah.
No.
I think I'm trying to figure out where it is because I forgot about this. One moment. So for the people watching, you can see on the screen we have transitioned over to a new character sheet. We've been talking about it for a little bit. How about this? You just if you go up to the top left, there's a little dice on your sheet. Just roll 3 dice. That'll work. So 3 more successes. Let's see what she does. 1 moment.
so total of 8 successes,
8,
right?
6.
And the 2 that you gave me.
Oh yes.
From
I'm
off.
sorry. Thank you. Forgot. Okay. And the resistance to awe is
For kindred, they have to roll composure and intelligence.
composure and intelligence. Okay.
Let me make sure that's correct. Anyone aware they're being affected can try to resist with composure and intelligence. Oh, sorry. Awe is manipulation and presence. So let me roll 1 more. Because I have 1 more charisma die.
Yeah, I got it.
1 more than in manipulation than charisma.
Yeah, just click that same thing and do 1. Okay. Okay, cool. So she looks at you. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Please, do you mind if I take this book?"
Let me take a look at what book it is.
And the book is The History of Cults.
Oh. That triggers something for me, huh? I feel like we've recently been hearing stuff about cults.
Mhm.
I was like, nope. I mean, by all means, it is a library. Please, I hope that you seek the knowledge that you desire. And I know that you're rather new here, so maybe the next time that you're around, we can chat about what you've learned.
Yes, of course.
I'm familiar with pretty much everything that's in this library. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this particular entry.
And just so y'all know what she looks like, she looks about 5'4", very light skin, freckles, reddish colored hair. Looks like a mixed girl. Pale vampire pale. It's not hard to put that together here. And she wears glasses, and she's wearing like a skirt with tall boots on and a dark jean jacket. And she's just like, yeah, of course. I'll be glad to share with you whatever I learn.
Lovely. Does my iconography background help me figure out like where, what clan she might be?
She's not wearing anything identifying.
Cool. But thank you very much. Please, it's, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not like we advertise these things, but
yeah, I got into a book and then I came back and I just wanted to learn more. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your meeting. Go ahead and talk to your friends. I thank you.
Sure, no worries. How did you get in here, by the way? Because we're not open yet.
I didn't want to bother anyone, so I kind of just snuck in.
Okay. As I mentioned, being new here, it's okay. We don't know, you might not have known the proper etiquette for making your way into these new establishments. So we'll make sure that we go over that next time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry.
And as I'm like shooing her out.
Yeah, she looks like she's trying to get. She's like looking at you and then trying to get away, but looking at you and trying to get away. It's kind of like putting her mind in two different places. But once you start to shoot her, she kind of scooches out quickly.
And then I'd like to do Sensi and Scene as soon as she's out.
Please.
And while I'm doing that, I'd like to be like, I'm so sorry about that. That slipped right through my fingers.
I was already distracted in the bookshelves.
Would like to just do a little quick scan of that, but I can do that in the background while we move on.
Yes. And are you all like falling to a table, or? Because I suspect that this place has at least one large study table.
Oh, there are many tables and chairs. Yeah. So I don't know what everybody else was doing while that was happening.
Watching
bookshelves.
I was about to say, knowing them, everybody's like, "Who this? What's she doing?"
No, Ari is definitely like, keep your hands in your pockets. You have not been invited to touch the books yet.
It's resolved. Okay.
3 successes. Like to blow more willpower.
Absolutely. That's what it's there for. Yike.
So 1 more success. 4 successes. Doesn't look like anybody anything out of the ordinary, honestly. You feel pretty good. You suspect that she was the only person here.
Sounds good. Yes, please. I'm so sorry about that, but yes, I wanted to make sure that we were in a place where it was a little more secure. I have to say, I am a little concerned. Typically, we do not have stragglers that make it through my security measures. So I'm going to have to see what I need to do about upping those. Not the greatest first impression to give you of this new place, but please make yourselves comfortable.
Can I touch the books?
It's a library, honey. Please, you don't need to ask for permission.
I'm going to Ari, come look through the books with me. I'm curious. And I just start looking at like what kind of books are on what kind of shelves. No,
there is tons of different things here. Lots of old books, bunch of sort of occult sort of things, but fiction mixed in here, horror, lots of interesting first edition books, some stuff that maybe hasn't been touched in 100+ years or so.
Mary's not touching the century-old books because she's afraid she's going to break them, but everything else she's at least parsing through.
Yeah, as you look through, the things that you would notice the most, like thematically amongst them, there's a lot of focus on like ethnographic studies and like interviews with groups of people from different like civilizations and cultures across time and different like globally, many different languages over many different years. So basically a lot of like cultural studies, people kind of embedded in those cultures to better understand them. And there's also a lot of information on like folkloric diseases and plagues and things that may have happened to kind of like wipe out swaths of populations in different regions of the world as well. In addition to books, like I mentioned, there's also like artifacts and items and like paintings and such. So it's kind of it's a library. There's also, I guess it's got like a little bit of like a museum flair to it, but the abundance of it is in books.
Oscar turns to Aurelio and says, is anyone allowed here or certain individuals? Could we come back in future times?
Oh, yes. Most of the folks that come through here are, I mean, only kindred can make their way through here. They're typically other kindred historians and knowledge seekers that I've met through my travels and folks that I've interviewed or folks that they have, I guess, vetted through me to have access to it. Or the folks that I don't know that come through here are probably folks that are connected to the person who has charged me with taking over and watching this library. But for all of you, I feel like we've spent some time together. If you are seeking knowledge here, it is analog, but you can come back as long as the club is open. This is where you can find some information.
Or will we remember this?
Zerady's going for. Look, if Zerady can find books on pirate history, you bet your ass she's ready.
We'll just make sure we get you a library card. Well, the information is analog.
We all get signed up for library cards in the meantime.
Yeah.
I mean, both can happen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like we came for one thing, but we live with a totally different thing.
Like Target.
God.
Don't get me
Like
started.
Target.
I've had to start doing the drive up pickup just so like I don't go in the store and buy too much.
Well, my mother cannot leave me alone in the stationery aisle of any store.
Cool.
Not possible.
So are y'all just gathering together to talk? What are you doing here? Also, Marie's here. Is she allowed to be in here?
Oh, good question.
Good question. Unfortunately not. It's just for us.
Oh, see, I didn't. When I brought Marie, I didn't realize we were going to be going to the library, and I brought her just so she could maybe help fill in the blanks for some things that you might not know. That was my purpose in bringing her, since we're supposed to be talking about you're supposed to be giving us information about stuff about us.
Indeed.
So, but if we're going to be in the library, I guess I could retcon that she's not here.
She could just be upstairs chatting
Or
with
she could just be
Ale.
in the bar. Yeah, could just be in the bar.
Goals talk. Have a goal night.
Yeah.
I can see what I can do to request some adjustments for folks.
Nope. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Okay, then. Where do folks want to start? I know there's probably a million questions and a lot of distractions as I look over and see Ari juggling multiple stacks of books, probably.
I have every book related to plague I can find.
Oh, your arms are gonna be heavy. Zerady's carrying a couple of those.
Great. That's not.
Zerady's carrying a couple of those. Like, nope. Remember, careful.
If I see you coming from a section that has a lot of those, I will definitely wander over and be like, oh my gosh, let me here, let me take some of those. Why don't we set them over here at the table? There'll be plenty of time to kind of look through those. I can actually probably tell you almost anything that you would want to know about them another time. These are my favorites.
We'll just we can talk.
You cut off a little bit. There's
I was just we could talk. I'll just sit here and it just
Sure.
if you need me, because I've been.
Cool. And I think before we dive into this would be a great time for us to take a short break, because we're going to dive into these characters' past and the things that Aurelio knows about them. This might be something. So we're going to take a 7 to 10 minute break, and we'll be back after we get drinks, fluids, yada, 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 relieve fluids. You know how it goes. So come back with us. Y'all go ahead and stretch out, and we'll see y'all here soon.
What is this place?
And we are back. Welcome back to Rolling These 20s. Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night. We left off with the players, our coterie, getting together in the library, Ari doing something appropriately creepy, and I mean, let's be real. I have a bunch of books about plagues. Mm-hmm. I like I said, appropriately creepy. So y'all are all together. Nothing you can find outside of like fiction, really. That doesn't really show up too much in folklore. Multiple versions of yourself. I've actually legitimately Googled this. Me, myself, and Oscar. Wow. Okay. It's hold up. Shit. I thought
But I
went.
think somebody.
Try it again. Can y'all hear?
Got us?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, it should be good now.
Aurelio
Voices
is
of
inviting
Palace
folks to
Guard.
Roll
share,
that back.
ask questions, basically.
Sorry about that, y'all. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
I
Thank
simply
you.
made a Book of Mormon joke with Oscar Prime.
Oscar was looking up books about multiple versions of oneself existing in the same place. Did not find anything in this library based on that request. And Aurelio again invited anyone who had questions about their relationship to this timeline to ask them, and Aurelio would be able to do their best, since they don't have direct relationships with a lot of folks except for the occasional exchange with Miss Baptiste, Katura, but has heard a lot of things, just stays out of the politics of the CAM and the anarchs. It's kind of more well connected with like the underground life here. But people talk, and I know a lot of what they say.
I think Couture would first like sort of say, well, I guess it would be nice to know what people are saying about me. I mean, obviously, everyone and their mom seems to know that I have a relationship with the prince, but I don't know what else is being said. And it would just be nice to know.
Yeah, it's a pretty, sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say that's a pretty high profile position for one to be in. People are very careful about what they say about you in particular.
Oh, is it because of my high profile position? Sorry. In my head, I made a really bad joke.
Yeah,
So
I
I know
think
where your brain went.
I think a lot of people could easily fall into associating you with being, the prince's arm candy or whatever. But if you ask me, the prince is lucky to be on your arm. And you have a million other things going for you that have nothing to do with the prince. So if they're saying anything with relation to that, they might, who knows, they might be trying to ride like the coattails of any clout that might give them. But what I do know is dot dot dot.
I believe that is a prince. Please fill in the blanks.
Yes.
I
Storyteller help.
what are we saying? Like in context of, are we asking just like general information, or is it a specific thing? Oh, because I didn't exactly catch. Like, was this just be like, I know Katura is a powerful person here in the city and does stuff and goes to galas and fundraisers and shit like that.
Well, my question to Aurelia was, because she's heard a lot of things like in the streets and stuff, like exactly what rumors are being said about me. And that way maybe I can like go back to Marie and just sort of like figure out which rumors are actually true and which rumors are just rumors.
I'd say the big rumor going around about Katura is that despite despite her being Hakata, she has very little connections to the family and often ostracizes herself from the rest of the Hakata as a whole, which is very, very odd. You're
I
muted,
know.
Juice.
Well, I'm trying to lip sync.
Been there.
But that's the big rumor for Katura, is that he does not have anything to do with the family, which means that the family has either disowned her or she fucked up real bad.
But I know that that's not true though, because I have a standing meeting in my calendar.
You know that's not true, but that does not mean that's not the rumor.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, because this is me trying to figure out what's true and what's not. So I know for a fact, like, without talking to Marie or anybody else, that that's not true, because I know what my calendar looks like.
Well, standing meeting does not necessarily mean you're not on the outs.
But it doesn't mean I'm not ostracized either. Like, at least I have, and like, I'm not
you're not disowned.
Separating myself from them. Yeah.
They haven't removed you from the Google invite.
Yeah, you're not disowned. That you know for sure.
I would also try and add I'll wait and see if there's other questions to see what else I might try to mention that you might be able to share, Prince.
Is there any burning questions on Aurelio's mind that he might know?
Well, what I would like to do, burning questions.
It's a very interesting sort of situation.
Burning questions about like what she just pulled back there, but I also want to stay within the scope of what we intended for this meeting, and then maybe whatever, talk about that, bring that in. But what I excuse me.
Good.
I would also, in addition to rumors and such, I would want to sprinkle in like actual like day-to-day context of anything that might be helpful to kind of keep your cover among mortals, knowing that the masquerade is important to the community here. If there's anything that might be different, I guess I wouldn't know what is different, but just give the context of like what the day-to-day for Katura is from the perspective of people that are not in your life. And the same for everybody else, basically.
The other thing, it would be less about Katura and more about Katura's company.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Katura is basically hands off on the company, and eventually is going to go to her second in command, Marie.
This is another rumor.
That's what people are saying. because Maria is so often out there, basically you're the CEO face sort of thing, but you're not handling most of the day-to-day business. Um, that is both rumor and things that people have seen. But Marie Laveau might be the one of the second most powerful people in all of Philadelphia.
Can't believe I'm gonna kill my own ghoul. No, I'm kidding.
Maria is absolutely loyal to you. That's not
no.
That
was a joke. That was a joke. She would never. She doesn't care.
I just want to clarify that for like the people out there. Marie is a loyal ghoul here.
I mean, all I have to do is just not give Marie any more blood, and she's toast. So.
Basically,
I don't know how long you had her.
I also would. I should have said this at the beginning. Now that you brought up the question of like any burning questions that Aurelio has, I would have also wanted to. No, you know what? No, I might hold on. I might hold on to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I might hold on to that.
What are you? Yeah. How's this table talk going?
I have a question.
Shoot.
Are the three of us ever actually seen together?
That was going to be
like
a similar question that I had.
Like, or the four of us especially.
Good question.
This is the first time I've seen y'all together.
Incredibly rarely.
So the fact that we have been inseparable for the past month and a half is.
And Katura, I've had multiple meetings together for sure. But the rest of you as like a group, that is relatively new how often y'all are together. It's not to say that y'all didn't know each other. People have seen y'all once or twice here or there, but not like this.
I wasn't joking about like breaking bread, sipping out of blood bags in a break room, in a bodega break room. Like
that would have been incredibly surprising.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that in this timeline we actually were not coterie?
As far as you can tell, not a coterie, just a loose alliance of associates.
We were all NPCs in each other's stories.
Like Oscar, you would have had barely anything to do with this group.
Well, I started to think.
Yeah. Like, not that they would be like unknown to you, but it's not people that you'd hang out with. That Oscar of this timeline is a different person.
I have other people to shake down.
You got business.
Well, that explains all of Aurelio's questions about why I'm hanging out with Serenity while I'm also banging the friends. It's like, what are you talking about?
True, like
we're best friends.
Ariel's just like, what do you mean?
That's my daughter. Shut up. Don't ever talk to me or my child ever again.
It does not mind this.
If I might ask, Miss Katura.
Yes.
I know that things were a little tense, but I also was not a fan of how Mingo kind of approached all this, but I was trying to be more sensible and sensitive about it. And I'm happy to share anything with all of you, but I'm curious to know if you're saying you're from another world or timeline or existence, another version of yourselves. I'm curious, what were you like in this other world?
Oh,
not in charge of anything.
Oh,
for me,
all of us, or just me?
I'm directing this at Katura right now.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. My transition into this world has been pretty smooth. I'm actually more successful here than I was over there. And also, my life isn't a fucking mess. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong, we're vampires. It's always going to be messy. But before we came here, some things had happened, and let's just say that even though this is weird and I'm still trying to adapt, I'm actually pretty happy here right now. I don't miss the other timeline that much.
Which one?
The original one that we came from, not the future one. That was horrible. That was terrible. I was dead in that one, actually.
I was as well, technically.
Yeah.
If we had gone back to our timeline, I would be dead in a year, probably.
Floating equations of timey-wimey stuff floating around my face.
Trust me, sweetie, you don't want to know anymore. It was a hot mess. And it would be hard to explain a lot of the things that we witnessed and learned.
In the future, yeah. I can tell you about our home base, though. That's easy enough.
I
Over the
died
shit
twice.
show.
I bet. Oh, okay.
What'd you say, Ari?
She died twice.
I died twice.
Yeah.
I beg to defer. I'm actually quite intrigued to know.
I had
all of it.
children. Let's just put it this way. Not
And not-
childers.
Mm-mm.
Actual came out of me children
It's a
as a
weird shit.
vampire.
Also, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Arale will look over to Ari and be like, is
This was my
that possible?
This was my midwife. I point to Ari.
Yes.
This was my midwife. This was my doula. and my
Also,
midwife.
don't. If you ever end up in that future, don't go anywhere labeled zoo. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Save your eyeballs.
Just stay in your
Just-
timeline. Just
Yeah,
stay in
just
your
stay
Stay
timeline.
here.
This-
Just
Don't-
stay
Here's
here.
it's actually pretty great here.
Considering, I mean, our original timeline had a Methuselah on the loose and people getting sick for future nanites.
There was more than one Methuselah, but one
This
had
is true.
decided to really fuck shit up and eat
Yeah,
half
because
of
they
South
didn't-
Philly.
Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, when we first ran into it, it was either I become Methuselah food or you eat it snack. So I'm alive at least.
I'm making mental notes of like all the stuff that they're bringing up from.
I
their
will
other
give it all to you in
timeline.
chronological order in a minute when we sit down and do it.
Maybe
Um,
feed it to her over time. It's a lot.
This is true.
It's like a lot.
Oh,
It would
I
take
mean,
most of the
yeah.
night.
I am happy to sit through and I eat this shit up. I mean I interview people for kind of, that's a lot of what I do. I run this club, but a lot of what I do is kind of listen to people share about themselves. So
This isn't more like a all you can eat and not like all you want to eat kind of deal. Like, just pace yourself. Pace
Yeah.
yourself.
okay.
Don't let your ears be bigger than your stomach.
do
I know
have
you're
another
going for a day.
question. I have another question. So you said that it's not normal for all of us, and I just said the four of us to be seen together. It's normal for myself and Ari to be seen together, correct? Because we have business dealings and whatnot.
On occasion,
Okay.
it doesn't, like, you don't have like a weekly brunch standing gathering, but
Mm. I'm contemplating a standing brunch now. Okay. So do you know what it is that Oscar does? Because he has all these fancy suits. He's in like this velour tracksuit, which is odd.
I can ask for myself, Mom. Thank you.
I will choke you out with my thighs. And you'll thank me before you die.
I have backed up everything else. The only thing that you would be fucking up is, it kind of is a big thing. I'll just sit back down.
Okay, good.
I'll say
Good for
this.
you.
I'll make mental notes. Maybe Couture can be my +1 to another event later.
Aurelio, you know fuck all about Oscar.
No, to be honest. As I mentioned, you're all not really seen together. The day that we were with Morgana, and we picked up this would you call them a straggler or something off of the street, and they hopped into the car. That was the first time I'd ever seen you in anything to do with kindred life out here.
So pretty quiet amongst the dealings of Philly.
The ones that I'm I guess, aware of and exposed to and have access to, I would say, yeah.
Do you know anyone who like gets their hands dirty? Anyone who see the underbelly of?
You a mob boss?
Oscar
I'm
doesn't know
kind
how
of-
to be. Oscar doesn't know how to be a mob boss, so he's trying to ask Aurelio how to be one.
After it's
Are you
more trying to
fucking-
get confirmation of it.
Seedy underbelly. I mean, you know, seedy could mean different things to different people. I know plenty of people in the underground beating heart of this place, but I don't know. I don't really know a lot of people that do like the fancy techie stuff that you do.
So
If I have anything, I'll come back to you.
from the sounds of it, Oscar might have a better chance of running into somebody who recognizes him over at Serenity's bar than
Yeah, I have a bar now. That's the thing.
Oh,
than in the other circles that we run in.
I mean,
I'm
from what
actually very surprised to hear that you have a bar. I feel like the people that come to my bar and would go to your bar, there'd probably be more overlap amongst those crowds than here in Nightshade, even though I think there's some people that think they're like good enough for Nightshade, but between you and me, they're not really that come here.
I mean, from what I've been able to gather on my own, I am apparently, I mean, I'm not a baron by any means, but I basically handle all the petty shit the barons don't have time to handle. That is what I do.
So you're what,
Yeah.
like a fixer? You're like,
Yeah, pretty
what,
much. Like,
Olivia
hell, I got a
Pope?
couple barons coming at me for things. I'm like,
Trust me, I know what that's like. I have to deal with that.
You're
a
in
lot.
the mob. What it sounds like is you're in the mob, just lower in the ranking.
possible. I don't. Yeah, I got thrown in. We literally got ported in here in front of Ari's. Okay, like, give me. a
I will
couple
say
months.
that Serenity you put together is not that you're lower ranking. That isn't the
Mhm.
right word for it. It actually seems like you are not in that position, so you have more power to do things to solve problems because
You're not
Yeah.
Aaron by
You're-
choice.
yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as I think I may have mentioned to you when we were in the, I don't know if it was in the bodega or some other time where like, sorry, I'm getting it.
Notes.
I cannot enter the phone right now. Yeah, it seems like people were coming to you kind of seeking advice and what they should do. Seems like
Yeah.
that aligns with what I know and have heard about you being someone that's like
Yeah. Me.
in
I've.
calling the shots without necessarily saying or admitting that they're calling the shots.
Yeah. I basically handle all the shit the barons can't or won't handle, basically, is what I understood that to mean. That's not to say I'm lower on the totem pole by any means. That's a bad phrase to use. I'm not lower rank necessarily, but I don't even know if I necessarily have one. I'm just sort of like, oh, go to Serenity.
But
Okay.
titles and
Best way to
positions
put it,
are like
Serenity as an anarch leader.
That, yeah.
like you're respected, you're valued, your opinion and
You are the
Oh,
captain
boy.
of
Thoughts are valued.
the ground troops.
Oh Lord, I don't know. I was not trusted with many things back in the original timeline, so this is going to be a doozy. Great.
I like pat your head a little bit.
and I look at
Okay.
that interaction and I'm like, oh, that's very different than I'm familiar with.
Okay, I have another question. How long
Like
has
Serenity would like break your arm.
I mean, she could. That's fine. I would.
I did nothing. I just let her do the thing.
It wouldn't bother me. It's fine. How long has Tyreek been Prince? I'm sorry, TJ. Ugh.
I don't like that. Mm-mm.
Is that what the T means?
I'm assuming, unless his name got changed.
No, it's still Tyreek.
I don't like that name. Anyway.
You would know that he has been Prince here for around 4 years.
Okay. It's been about 4 years around here, these parts.
And how long have I been seeing him?
No one actually knows when it started. But the rumors
been more than
probably
4 years.
started probably within the last year.
I say that.
Okay.
Did you have a relationship with TJ in your timeline?
Yes and no. We'd been on one date before I was sent to the future, and then I was here. So it's a little weird. Not weird, but it's just different.
Disorienting.
I mean, all of this is disorienting.
I mean,
And were those children that you had from your relationship with TJ?
Yes.
Oh,
But that was a different timeline as well.
right. Trying to get all
Tariq's been a
put all
kindred
these things together.
a while, right? Like he's been around a while. Because in our timeline, he was a ghoul that had just recently been kindrified.
That's a good question. Has he been kindred for very long in this timeline? Do we know?
I don't know if that would be not like readily available knowledge.
Okay.
We did figure out from asking about Al that he lived, or he was in the census about 60 years ago.
Okay.
So whether or not that's his original timeline or when he popped back up, but he's been around for at least 60 years.
Yeah. What were the circumstances of him becoming prince?
That's a great question. And I will actually have a role for this one because this is going to depend on how connected or paying attention you would have been. And let me get a
like interviews I may have made.
Yeah, int and intelligence, and let's see. I would say intelligence and awareness.
Trying to see if I have any lower sheet stuff that might help me with this. I think the answer is no. All right, intelligence. Extra dice. I don't think I get any extra dice to this.
That is 7 successes. Phenomenal. That's a crit. Wonderful.
Ooh.
Yes. So you know of 2 stories. One, maybe the truth. The other, maybe the truth. You don't know which one is actually true. However, when the prince came to the city, you knew that there was essentially Second Inquisition was sniffing around here, and a few of the higher up not anarchs, but Camarilla got knocked off. And so the old prince basically, instead of, shutting shit down, started basically taking people off of the streets entirely and tried to kill off the Second Inquisition in a very loud way. It did not go over well. And after making a mess, there was the sheriff basically said, this prince is incompetent, and so did the Primogen Council. And someone basically stepped up and took the prince out. What you know of taking the prince out is either dead, staked somewhere in torpor, whatever. No one knows who did it. Everyone thinks it was TJ, but no one has actually said that's true. The other rumor was that within the Second Inquisition raid here, that he ran, basically dipped out on the city and went into hiding and let other people take the fall for him. And no one else really wanted to jump up and declare praxis and become prince. And they basically let a sort of upstart Banu step into the role so that in case the heat came down, he would take the fall for things. One of those stories is probably true, but you don't know exactly which one. But you know both stories.
Yeah. I've talked to enough people who, in our exchanges and our interviews, have corroborated both stories to great effect.
And that sheriff mentioned was Mingo?
Yes.
Serenity, you mentioned that you weren't in, you're not used to this.
Most people don't come to me to fix their shit.
Responsibility. Yeah, you said that the people didn't really trust you with this kind of responsibility in your timeline.
It's more like, I mean, I wasn't established at all in that way. Like, I came to Philly, met Ari and Delray, who is not here or no longer with us in either timeline. And literally everything just kind of happened. Beyond that, we were suddenly feeding a Methuselah. I ended up dating a La Sombra Primogen, which that was interesting.
Does that sound familiar to me in this timeline? Would I know who that is here?
I didn't say a name, so.
I don't know if there's only one person in these roles. I don't know how the as a player, I don't know how Primogen stuff.
No, yeah, there's usually only one Primogen of each clan, but
out of character, the person that she was dating in the other timeline is a canon character, so probably not.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
And the old prince, just to clarify, this was a Toreador. He was a Toreador.
Cool. So what were I it's difficult for me to wrap my mind around you not being in the kind of position of influence and conviction and confidence that I know of you here. In what capacity did you feel like that in your other timeline, or even before becoming Kindred? Did you ever feel like you had a grasp on anything to that degree?
Long story short, the only time I actually felt like I knew what I was doing is when I was helping out with my family. My mom was a single mom. Dad is a fucking piece of shit. I am just cursed with awful dads. It's fine.
So sorry.
I don't give a shit about that man anymore. It's fine.
Okay.
But that meant I had to take care of my little brother. I had to make sure that, like, I held off of college for the longest time because my brother needed the money to go. Stuff like that. And then I get turned into a Kindred at the one party that I go to at 21 years old. Barely a 21-year-old. And then I get turned into a Kindred randomly by an asshole who ditched.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, nah, he's an ass. I don't even know where. Oh God, I hope I don't have to play next with him. Oh God, don't tell me the other me knows him. It's another right.
I mean, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you've taken on that, and then a period where you felt like you were, I don't know if it seemed like you were looked down on, or you felt like a lack of confidence, or you felt like maybe you also didn't trust yourself. But
no, and to be fair, when I got into Philly, the cam started talking with when I met my ex who was in the cam. And I got told, like, oh, the cam can give you what you want, what you need, all this other stuff. And then I got pulled into so many different directions. Like, well, what? it felt like any choice I made was the wrong one. At a certain point, I kind of just stopped making decisions.
Did you feel like that when you were looking out for your little brother?
No, I actually felt pretty confident in taking care of, but also that those are human, like, kids, not kindred who will fucking end you in 2 seconds if you say the wrong thing.
Yeah. I'm thinking like not so much about the people outside of you, but you yourself. That might be something that you can try and channel to keep your cover here, if that's something that you're interested in.
I mean, I have to keep my cover.
The drive that you had to make sure that your little bro was good. And that you'd probably fuck up anybody that would get in the way or try and harm them, right?
No, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have stuck around with these people as long as I have if that weren't the case. Like,
Yeah.
like I jumped into a water for you. All right. I would have jumped into that Methuselah water.
I think at this point, I'll put a hand on Serenity's shoulder. And when she and Aurelia are finished talking, I'll be like, come with me so we can have a conversation.
Okay.
But I'll let you two resolve your conversation first.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just a lot to refigure out. I don't think I have fully properly adjusted to kindred life, let alone what apparently is the crazy end of it. So
No, if you something that might also be helpful based on what I have known and the couple of handful of times that I may have been in same circles, you don't give a fuck here. And if people question you, like, fuck them, right? So if you give them any like, you give them an inch of insecurity or that they might have something over you, they're gonna run with that for miles. So if you don't know something, fuck it, but don't let them know.
okay. And then I will go do that separate conversation with Cthulhu.
So I'll like lead you over to like just sort of on the other side, just so we can have like semi-private conversation, maybe in like one of the stacks or something. And I'll be like, listen, I've been meaning to have this conversation with you for a couple days now, but things keep getting in the way.
I mean, yeah, we did kind of get bodied by a zombie.
Yep. Yeah, that was amazing. The other night we had an argument. You, at the end, you mentioned that you keep fucking up, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't think you fuck up. You're not a fuck up. And I don't want you to think that I think that you are, because you're not.
Cthulhu, that wasn't about you.
I know. But I'm having this conversation with you anyway, okay? Because I don't want you... I want you to stop thinking that way about yourself.
I can't go talk to literally the entirety of the time I was in Philly. I can't talk to a cam girl without getting pretty girls. I can't open my mouth. And this Ari was doing this long before you were. Like, Serenity, I love you, but shut up. Every time. Even though half the time when she was talking to people, we were doing shit for other people. But anyway, Delroy too.
Frank, I'm going to say something that I never say. That was wrong of me to say those things to you. You're still very young and you're allowed to make mistakes. As long as you're learning from those mistakes, which I think that you are.
I think part of it is just, I know if I do something wrong, it will hurt you or Ari or Oscar, and I don't know what I'd do without any of you. So if the one way I can protect you outside of this is to keep my mouth shut, then I will do it because I love you guys and I don't want anything to take you from me. But I also know I'm not skilled in any of the other stuff. I can't talk my way out of shit. I can't magically ingenuity wise come up with stuff to save the day. I can just punch things. That is my job.
I understand. but I think that you are not giving yourself enough credit. I think that the skills that you don't have are things that just can be learned. And as you make mistakes, even as in this life, like, yes, it's a little bit more dangerous to make mistakes, but there's always the opportunity to learn from them no matter what.
Just to interject
And
here, Fair, you're muted on Google Meets. I just noticed your cap before coming.
I did not mute myself there. I don't know what happened.
It just skipped. It acts weird sometimes.
Yeah. You're a lot, like, as long as you're learning from the mistakes, that's what matters, because you grow from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're still very young.
Mm.
You have to give yourself a little bit of grace.
Is everything supposed to feel this awful at this early in? Like, when it comes to, like, I still hear my friends in that sewer talking to me sometimes, or like, and I know this isn't actually real, like, so I get nervous, still get nervous on open water. I can't go anywhere near it anymore because I almost dived in.
That's called trauma, and it is normal. Just because we're vampires doesn't mean we're not still people.
Yeah, I wish more people remembered that.
I want to show you something.
Okay.
Don't freak out.
Okay.
I'm going to turn around and lift my shirt up so she sees all of the scars that I have on my back.
Look at Tara.
Each one of those is because I made a mistake and I was impatient and didn't bide my time. But I learned from them each and every time. And I learned how to bide my time. And when the time came,
Mm-hmm.
I cut off the head of the man who did this to me.
Good.
And so I'm telling you this to say, make your mistakes, but learn from them. Bide your time. And when you're ready, and you'll know you're ready when you're ready, you strike. See, Aurelio was right. Fake it until you fucking make it.
Yeah, it's kind of the plan at the moment.
So, but you're doing fine. And I don't want you to ever think that I think that you're a fuck up. Okay.
I will give the big hug and be like, I love you, mama.
I love you too, sweetie. Don't tell anybody I showed you that, though.
You say that like that was the plan. I promise.
Okay, and then we'll go back.
Better than that. Yeah, okay. We go back.
What are y'all talking about out while they have gone into their
what plague are you talking
I'm
about?
actually really interested in what's happening with Oscar, Aurelio, and Ari here.
I would have, based on that message I sent you and you sent me back, Prince, slid that over to Oscar and pointed out a couple of things as my tech nerd. Look, they're coming.
Oscar freaks out his phone and starts doing take some notes, starts doing a little search into that. And just seeing how that anything in there might help out what I'm working on.
Oscar, based on the things that you found, you think maybe, but you'd have to go steal it.
Heist episode.
Episode with all new characters and Oscar.
But I'll bring that up to Ari later on, after we leave here.
Just an FYI, there is stuff that makes your tech act funky, so you're not getting calls or able to look things up on phones or anything here.
Okay.
but you could look that up afterwards for sure. But just knowing what you've read from those books, you have a feeling you'd need to get your hands on it to be able to work with it. But you think that would help you tremendously.
Yes. And I'd ask Aurelio, I'd be like, okay, I know I've kept a relatively low profile. Do you know any rumors about me? Because now I'm curious.
I know that you. Sorry, man. You know.
No, you're good.
What? You're right. You do keep pretty low profile. I think some of the stuff that may have put you on the map was maybe some of the people that you've helped, and you know your occasional connections with Katura and other kindred that do have more public personas. But you are known to be kind of like the, I don't know if like the Switzerland of kindred would make sense, but you are kind of like the go-to person when people need help with like healing or any other kinds of things that come up that they can't resolve through other means, but you have the skill set for independent of association. You're kind of like the middle ground. Does that sound right?
Yes, that is what you've heard for sure.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
But you don't know the means, and a lot of the people that have been helped by Ari doesn't know how Ari does this. Most of them only come to Ari to help with injuries in the most extreme of situations, and so they're willing to do basically whatever.
Yeah.
And Ari, you just putting together some of the
Ivy.
And Ari, just so you would have, I will work on the overlay, but you would know based on your ledgers, there are a lot of people in your debt. And this is part of the reason why you've been able to be so successful, because when they come to you, they will pay you whatever, be it money, blood, power, trades, boons, whatever.
So I have a stack of, hold on, let me call a friend.
You have some owed favors, which is part of the reason why you're able to stay neutral.
Okay.
And I think that's something that you and I have in common in different ways. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. But I also know things about a lot of people that they don't necessarily want put on blast or, put out there, and can help in different ways too. We're just in different circles. So you and I have had no connection. I've heard a lot about you. Some of the people that I interact with in some of my other circles do. This is how I've heard the stuff about you. And I was actually hoping to find a way to, it's almost like serendipitous that you literally fell into my lap here. Based on what I'd heard, I've been thinking about reaching out and talking with you as well about some things. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for the books. I mean, not that I'm taking them, but interesting things. And yes, the babies are entirely possible. However, I have to find a better method, as that's what got me killed the first time. So
okay, well, Libby, I don't want you to get killed, so
I would prefer not to get killed, as I don't know if I'd come back this time.
what is your draw to this magnificent content that you've pulled from these shelves?
So one, I am actually a literal trained doctor, so medical stuff is always interesting to me. Oh, now I'm the storyteller.
I'm trying to move people around to the right spots. It's always a dance. God damn it.
Almost. Okay, I gotta focus. I'm sorry.
It's just, yeah. God damn it.
But no,
There we go.
and I'll kind of look over at Katura and I'm like, I'm telling more secrets. Um,
No.
yep. Just
Whose
the
secret's mine?
No, just the nanites. Nothing
Oh,
exciting. Okay. So part of what got us sent to the future, aside from the Methuselah eating half of South Philly, was that what is it? The technocracy, there we go, had decided to jump back to the past and started shooting people with nanites, and they were causing us to explode. Not me, but other kindred. Specifically the prince at that point almost exploded. So we had to go to the future and find a remedy or a way to combat the nanites. So I was curious if there were anything in these plague books, because it would have looked as like some sort of blood plague. It would have looked like something like that. I haven't found anything. I did find, however, a company. Oh, there we go. I did find a company that seems to be on track to make something of that nature.
I'm sorry, a company on track to as you're sharing all of this, Aurelio's really enraptured by what you're saying. A company that's on track to make what?
So, and I'll kind of like point out on the book, like, okay, so this microtech company, and judging from this timeline, and looking at this, I wouldn't be surprised if and this is the stuff that they've kind of announced, which means that they're probably about 5 to 10 years ahead of what they've actually announced, which means that based on the timeline, because we know that originally I got my hands on the nanites in like 2024, and then I died in 2025 after mass murder. So what? There's so many things going on with the screens.
I'm trying to fix it. You just keep talking.
Currently on top of this, my bad.
You're
You're
good.
good. What happens?
Yeah. So this timeline seems like they could possibly make nanites or nanobots small enough to match up with what we saw. There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but we don't want that to happen.
Well,
we don't
no.
want to fall in their hands.
I mean, I want it to happen because they're interesting, but I also don't want to blow up. So I am of two minds.
What?
See why we didn't want her to have these books now, right?
You realize you
Sorry.
could give me a fantasy book and I will probably make you all concerned.
Jeff, do you have any inclination of your creative ability?
Wait, so does hold on. So you are telling me that there is something in the works out there, both in where you're coming from and possibly even now here, that so in any timeline this is a reality?
No idea. It is possible.
It's highly possible.
It is highly possible because originally, I think, the nanites did not come. They came from the future and came back, which doesn't seem right, but I'm not great. Physics was never my thing. Chemistry, I'm cool, but physics is me. So I'm not sure how timelines work. But in theory, since we got here, anybody else could get here. So somebody could just be like, nanites, and then you're screwed anyway. So
I mean, that
Oscar
is true.
would have a
Yeah.
little bit of information on this, actually.
But is Oscar going to share?
Is Oscar
all
sharing
this
that?
stuff?
That's another story
Oscar
entirely.
hasn't even told us about his nice house yet. So
But
Yeah,
Oscar
seriously.
definitely has some information on
Oscar would share
jumpers.
this. Oscar would share this information.
You're,
And
you're you're telling about the Oscars that have been eaten by
the
you?
real Oscar Prime.
yeah, I would, because it could, in Oscar's mind, what's going on is starting to be a little bit too much just for him to figure out. Having someone like Aurelio, who seems to know a hell of a lot of people, specifically in this timeline, would definitely help out. Having the rest of the coterie be able to pitch in, have ideas, bounce things also like try and figure things out, what also help out as well. So I think this is the point in where Oscar's going to dump everything for the most part. Hence the tracksuit mafia kind of look.
Okay.
I honestly just can't see it.
I don't. This
To
is
be
why I
fair,
didn't
we
feel
didn't
comfortable
choose
at
who
all.
the other ones of us are. So
I know, but still.
It doesn't.
like you both told me, fake it till he makes it.
True.
Yeah, I think he took it a little bit too far. Especially with the Diablerie and all.
I mean,
But
it is interesting concept. I mean, we knew about people from the future timeline eating themselves.
Right.
So,
The only reason they sent us in
I
the
guess-
first place was that they thought we were all dead over there.
yeah.
it's just he's getting. I wouldn't say close,
It's my tablet. You know?
but he's definitely playing with fire. I had to go ahead and thwart whatever process he had going. So I already have contingency plans for contingency plans. Because who knows when the original
youth will show up.
inhabitants would come back. It could be now, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. It could be if and when we ever depart this timeline.
Oh man.
How would you depart this timeline?
He had a
Great
portal
question.
built. The same one that we used to travel to get here.
I mean, you.
Or you
had
don't
a
even think
portal
about it.
He. Because I did not build this.
You did now.
No, I thwarted it. I've made some slight alterations, minor alterations that wouldn't be noticed.
Nah, you guys all give me shit for what future Ari did. You made the portal.
This specific one. All of
The
them?
other specific Ari did all
Let's-
that shit, not me. But everybody wants to look at me like I got killed for crimes against humanity, for
Hold up,
killing
we all know
half
you,
a million
what you-
people, for killing 28 million people.
It's,
Like
No,
I
you
did
have
it.
books on plagues
This isn't Gallifrey.
that we know how those
I
will
don't-
get used.
I know that you did not do those things. However, your interest in these things is why I look at you sideways. There's a
Thank you.
difference.
Mama Katara knows how to say this.
I'm trying to stop this Ari from becoming that.
That Ari.
Don't
I think-
die. We'll be
no.
good.
I think we are trying to
Get
not get
better coping mechanisms, and then we will be good.
Look, I was
Take up
going
knitting,
for revenge.
crocheting.
That's boring.
Aurelio,
Look,
how are you handling all this? This is a whole lot going on right now.
I
You
think
just
Jesus
got
Christ is
got
all.
dunked on
What's
you
going
that
on?
there is a plethora of Oscars that have floated around. There's like a council of Oscars, even.
There's Council of Oscars. There's Vampire
Aurelio, do
Babies.
you need me to
Straight up
ban you in
Rick and
like
Morty
nights?
shit. There's a bunch
I'm
of
sorry,
Oscars
that's a lot to throw at you.
killing each other. And this current Oscar is inhabiting the body of the Oscar that is probably the most dangerous Oscar
There's a
around.
legion of Oscars and a Oscar Justice Society.
Oh my god.
I have a lot of
Justice Oscars of America.
questions, a lot of follow-ups.
We warned
Um,
you. I warned you though.
Yes, and this is not fear. I am absolutely enthralled by all of this because I know almost everything in all of these books here. I don't have a good connection to any of any other folks, any other Tremors. They live for this kind of shit. And I got the exclusive, baby.
And you're not going to tell them, right?
I don't know anybody to tell.
Great.
I don't say that. I know that made it seem really creepy and weird. I say that to mean like, I'm not scared off by what you're telling me. If anything, I'm invested in this. I am curious, storyteller, if the mention of like description of the nanites and the okay, never mind. I saw your response.
Go ahead and ask the question, just because it's out there now.
Yeah, just my familiarity with having this stock in here, my experience, and like the knowledge that I have around diseases and folkloric like plagues and blood plagues and whatnot. If the description of the nanites and what was found with this possible trajectory with this company and whatnot like aligns with my knowledge of actual blood plagues that affect kindred.
No. However, I will say this, based on what you've been told and how the like what they were able to do to blow up kindred, because I assume y'all told the whole story here, you get the vibe this could be helpful. I'll just put it like that. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, I would turn to Ari and say, you know, I think it's really fascinating stuff what you found. I would caution, just because of, you know, the history with folks like us and how literal blood plagues could affect us. Comparing things to blood plagues casually could be pretty terrifying, like yelling fire in a crowded theater. Doesn't sound like this is a blood plague, but it sounds like there's some stuff. I can see the connections. I can see why you would draw those lines between them. But I would just caution you. It doesn't sound like this is something that you're talking about publicly with everybody anyway. Just kind of putting that out there. Like,
I didn't even want to tell you. So
yeah, for sure. Are you interested? But I still can't get a read on you if this is something that you want to prevent or if you want to actually like bring to fruition.
that's what I was talking about, Ari.
I think we all just pan over and look at Ari and we're like,
Ari, your defense.
Answer the question.
I have done. I have been trying to help. Yes,
Road to hell is based on good intentions, baby.
I am learning that. However, the cybernetics, yes, there was a great deal of death involved, but I managed to replace somebody's spine, which is dope and absolutely impossible as things stand right now. Yes, there was a lot of death involved with getting rid of the nanites. That was an accident
You bring up
and
Bubba.
miscalculation. I was trying to help. Same with the babies. Yes, I may have been executed for crimes against humanity because of it, but I was trying to
See, that's so
help.
easy.
This
Ari, no one's questioning your intentions. We're
sorry.
questioning your judgment in those intentions.
And so you're trying to help. I get that. I believe you.
And that was not directed at Aurelio at all. That is directed at all the other eyes looking at me like,
do you have, but specifically related to the nanites and like plagues, blood plagues, etc., that affect us, is that something that you're interested in just preventing?
I mean, yeah, if it can kill me or my friends, yes, I'd prefer to prevent it. You know, it could I see it in theory weaponized, like as an idea? Yeah, but that could get used against me, and so let's not go there. I would prefer if it were prevented, you know, and kept out of reach of those who would try and weaponize it.
I think something that struck my mind, especially after being thrust into this building with Serenity and Katura, and now hearing what you've all told me, it makes sense. You know, I've had these visions. I feel this ironic, strange, unexpected, like what the fuck kinship with this fucking peacock. And for a while now, I've been seeing double vision, but not like I'm drunk and seeing double vision, but it aligns with this dual presence that I've been sensing and feeling amongst all of you. It makes sense that the things that I saw, like you talking to this big bat and these voices that I was hearing in the sewer when Serenity was dealing with the zombie in the alley, it sounds like these may have been experiences that you may have had in this other timeline. So I'm confident that I believe in everything that you're saying. You're inhabiting these bodies, but you're still you. And what I was trying to say to you, Oscar, is like, speaking in the third person, yes, that was not your experience, but that was still you. And I think it'd be in everybody's best interest to think about speaking in the first person to not trip up. But we're in like safe company here.
No, of course.
I'm wondering physically if you are the same people. If your blood is the same as what it was before, and if there is any difference that could help prevent some of the stuff, to study the differences between how it is affected by this kind of stuff.
Actually,
diseases,
on that point,
etc.
I've noticed that our goal, like Gabriella, for example, that's kind like I walked into my house for the first time and she was there because it was time for her to get blood, and she believed me because she tasted my blood and it didn't taste the same, or it wasn't the same. Like she could tell it wasn't the other me.
That's why I told my ghouls what was going on, because they would find out anyway.
Yeah. Granted,
and
she wasn't supposed to say shit, but
I think Ari, I think you would know a little bit about this. And it's not so much that they have different blood, it's the blood has a different resonance. The DNA is the same.
Your
Whatever.
vibes don't match.
But the resonance
Yeah.
of the blood is not
Damn, we
right.
failing the vibe checks all over the place.
to be fair, Gabriella's been wonderful and I love her.
If anything like this were to come to fruition, I wonder if you would have some kind of resistance to either nanites, or if there was like an actual blood plague around that were to happen, like if there might be some answers to.
I would almost imagine
Within-
the opposite.
Let's not
Because
find out.
I would almost imagine the
blood plague.
opposite, because if something is endemic
Katura?
to this area, then we are not from here, which makes us more vulnerable typically.
Actually, I want
You also don't
Katura,
have
uh,
time travelers.
Oscar, and
Yes, you do.
Katura, Oscar, and Ari to roll me an intelligence and occult roll.
I have to say, give me a second to pull up my sheet. Everything got fucked.
Serenity would not be rolling on this, actually.
No, I know. I just don't need to figure out how to pull it up now anyway.
Sure.
Is there a
It's-
difficulty?
3. Let's say 3.
Oh, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, me neither.
It's possible.
Willpower?
Oh, I got a missy crit. Oh no, that's Ari. Never mind. God damn it. How dare you? I
I'm
got
sorry.
3.
No,
You
I'm not
could
going to
always
waste
round
willpower
the
on
blood
that.
and add one thingy.
No,
No, I'm not gonna bother.
we got the good doctor that got it.
Katura, you've
I
heard
got 3 successes.
blood plague, but it's not ringing a bell. However, yeah, Oscar, you have no fucking idea. This you heard blood plague, you're just whatever.
I got 4.
Yeah. And with the messy crit, I think this makes a whole lot of sense. Ari, it's not that you remember the blood plague. This is way before your time of being a kindred, but you've heard the stories. And the blood plague was a thing that went around for kindred. maybe almost a century ago or something, but it killed a bunch of kindred, spread through the blood. It was a big thing. And the ones that survived the blood plague were purged. They weren't taking any chances, not spreading it, because it spread through both the people who were fed on by the kindred and the kindred themselves. And it only affected kindred.
I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah. Hold, please. You just see Ari kind of like blue screen for a
screen.
minute.
She's gone into her mind
It's
palace.
going
She'll
to
be
the
back.
the
TBD.
Ari's place.
Yeah, it's yeah.
She's gone to the
We're
Zoom.
gonna be here for a couple hours. Anyone want to go get something?
Yeah, you want to go get a burger? Let's go get something to eat. Let's
I
go
can
down
go
to
ask
the
everyone
get
if
Yeah.
you
something to
need
eat.
some and come
I'm
back.
picturing like literal blue screen, but it's because like the club's finally opened and like the lights somehow refracted through an opening of the door, and she's got an actual blue light on her face.
While Ari is thinking, processing, and downloading updates, I do have another question. This is unrelated to the nanites and stuff because that's not my forte. That's hers, and maybe his. And I point to Oscar. What is my relation like besides the prince? Do I have a relationship to the cam? Because I'd prefer not. I'm not cam, am I?
No.
Okay, great.
Even with your potentially being on the outs with the family, Katura knew better than to actually forge a straight up, hey, I'm a part of the Camarilla sort of thing.
Well, I have to ask that because in the other timeline, what's her face? Like there was talks about some of the Hakata being like upset with me for not joining the cam.
Yep.
So
The timeline. Who did?
Yeah, I would say, and I would give you that response. I would be clear with that. And I would say to everyone as well, but this also kind of brings up this whole Elysium thing that's coming up. Are you all planning on going? Have you been invited? Do you have access? I don't know if I can't remember as a player if we are all aware that each other had invites.
yeah, we are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Because I mean, I don't know.
Wait,
Well,
does
I don't
Randy
know if
get
we know
invited?
that you have. Well, we came to an invite at my place. I don't know if you guys had invites at your places, but I think
That's what it was.
I don't know
okay.
if we necessarily know if Aurelio got an invite, but we know that you're basically going because you told Kelvin that, yeah, this is a thing I was inviting you to, even though it absolutely wasn't. So, but it's for like all kindred. So
Yes.
you to not get one would be weird unless you were like completely under the radar.
Yeah.
So maybe you're under completely, maybe you didn't get one. I don't know. Katura would be like, oh yeah, I was gonna go.
Okay.
Just to find out what's going on.
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that we had this conversation then because I mean that's anyone who's anyone is gonna be there. You know what I mentioned that
black tie affair, just so you know.
Now, I would say not even necessarily a flashback Katura, but more like a scene pops into your head of another Elysium you've been at. And people basically wear whatever the fuck they want to. Some of the kindred even going back, like the really old ones, going back to the styles of their times. So you get a wild amount of like different vibes. Bruja coming in there with their Bruja finest. Gangrels in their flannel.
All the faces I'm making, she's making.
Yeah. Toreadors dressed to the nines. It's a ridiculous mismatch of things.
Oh, I take back what I said. Apparently, they don't dress up here. Well, they don't. They dress
That is
up,
not
but
the
in,
right
like,
word.
their
Yeah.
in,
They
like,
dress how they want to dress is the
they
best
dress
way
how
to
they
put it.
want to dress, but also it's like their clan finery, which is also I'm like in these images in my head, I was like, which is also like hideous.
I mean,
So I
most
guess
older
just how
kids
you
just
want
have the
to.
opportunity to let their old clothes get used. Is what I understood.
Yeah, I mean, they could just burn them though. They're out of fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do I look like
And
I know
also,
what those kids do?
And I'm sorry, I saw a couple women wearing like bustles and tight corsets, and I would prefer to be staked than not
Yep.
be able to.
Powdered
Even though I
faces,
do not,
the big
I
wigs,
don't have.
the whole thing.
We don't have to breathe, but it made me, even just seeing it made me want to pass out from not being able to breathe. Those times were awful, and I never want to go back to that.
That is fair.
I take a deep breath and say thank you for that. Always appreciate hearing other people's perspectives on fashion. I simply bring up that fact of making sure that you all kind of know the context of where you're at before Elysium happens, especially because while I don't have a connection with other Tremere, I do know that there are going to be some others around. And if you're mentioning the technocracy and all these other things that have to do with different forms of magic, I'm particularly, and Katura, I would love to talk with you more about the magnificent display that you exhibited to kind of get us out of that situation at the bodega. They're a lot more advanced in that respect. So any kind of inkling that you may know anything about any sorts of connections to magical technical stuff could put a big target on your back.
Good question. And this is for the
Just
other
make sure that
two.
you don't slip. Yes, Serenity.
Technocratic as in Technocratic Union.
Yeah.
It was called.
The guys who were running the world in the future.
Yeah. They're the ones who made the nanites.
Mhm.
Oh.
We have
The
no
humans
intention of bringing
made
that up. We have no intention of bringing that up at all. Again,
No.
we didn't even want to tell you. But Mingo kind of forced our hand.
Yeah, I'm more so like anything else that might give anyone reason to give anyone pause or reason to doubt you or to doubt that you are who you say you are.
So you're saying don't walk in together.
Yeah,
Would Oscar even go to Elysium?
probably not.
I don't know. I've never been myself. I prefer to stay away from these things. So I can check in with Belladonna to see if she has been, and I think she probably has. She knows a little bit about what's going on to see if
You would be
you've been.
confident that she has for sure.
Yeah.
Oscar, you would have gotten an invite.
I still would have went to really Omega. Muchas gracias.
Or not.
One more question. Who are the Primogen on this council, by the way? I don't, outside of Morgan, I think Morgan is one, but I don't think we know of any other Primogen in this city.
Y'all don't know them.
Oh, really? Okay, tell us that the other Primogen are, so we're careful.
Aurelia wouldn't know the other Primogen.
Oh.
Why would
they
Aurelia know?
As I mentioned, I'm not really involved in this stuff. I the closest connection that I had to the chem was my connection to Mingo.
I'm curious what his whole deal is, because he sure likes to stress that he's former sheriff. But
Mingo would know the other Primogen.
Well, that's a question for him when he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mingo.
I mean, I could find out, but I think that
It'd
it
be
might look a
weird
little
if he would know already.
suspicious.
Yeah, I think you should brush up on that before Elysium time for sure, because you're probably the one that would know the most.
I mean, does TJ talk to me about cam stuff.
No. Y'all both take the time together
Yeah.
to not talk about business.
We
essentially.
don't talk business when we're together, so I actually don't know.
Okay.
Our time together is personal time.
I smirk.
It's kind of how your relationship works, is that you don't talk about the bullshit that's going on in the world that's bothering you, because then it gets
Freaky.
complicated.
Trust me, I know all
Then
about
there-
Then there
you
are
know,
s-
keeping
then there are strings attached.
keeping things separate.
Yeah.
Yes. I last thing I would like to kind of put out there. It seems the club is about to start getting bumped, and I want to make sure that I'm kind of on the floor to, oversee stuff. And until we get you some library cards, I'm gonna have to ask that you come with me and enjoy the festivities. But I do want to put this offer out there. As I mentioned, I love to listen and kind of hear your stories. And the reason that I talk to people and I listen to people is because I find a lot of value in who we are, what we do, and our experiences in our lives, and make sure that I can do things to make people forget things, but I don't like to use that often, because I think there's great power in maintaining memories, because our memories are what keep the things that we want to stay alive, both in these lives that we have now and the lives that we had before we became who we became. And for some of us, that's a very long time. For some of us, some of those people are still around. But our memories are the only thing that keeps them alive, either because we hold them dear, or because we want to make sure that somebody never forgets the terrible things that have happened and that we have witnessed or experienced. Because as we know, these are some collections of books, but we all know that libraries contain versions of history that are not entirely accurate. They're written by people who favor certain perspectives. I would like to offer, if you're ever interested, to kind of hear you out. Anything that you want to share to make sure that that doesn't get lost, either from your other timeline, your mortal lives, the things that were either significant and important and positive to you, or things that you just want to make sure don't get lost because they're what drives you. That's what I like to offer to a lot of the folks that I get to know. Because that's what's important to me, and my memories of the people that I hold dear, I want to make sure that they stay around. Just want to put that offer on the table.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Same. And don't be surprised if I hit you up on it.
In her mind, Katra's like, I've revealed enough of my past for the next 3 months.
Entirely correct.
Oscar nods, but in knowing what this Oscar has been up to, think that it might do a little bit more harm than good. Getting Oscar's name out there, so he's going to think on it.
Yes,
I'll let you know.
for sure. And these, though, the conversations, just so you know, none of that is within the bounds of this wall, this library. Those are things that I kind of do privately, with consent of everyone involved. I do store them offsite in a much more secure location, clearly, because I was not expecting to have Alexa in here.
I was kind of tempted to ask her to play Despacito. I was a little tempted.
So please enjoy.
So are y'all sticking around, or are y'all leaving?
I actually have to get going. I have a house viewing to go to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I hope that goes well.
Katura
Right,
has the
right next
power
door to Oscar.
to have
Right next door to Oscar.
house viewings at like 10 o'clock at night, just easy peasy.
Mhm.
Katura, I actually have an idea for why you and I would be seen together so much. I'll get you notes. And it'll be good for
Love
your
that.
business if it actually works.
Love to hear it.
Which we're gonna just come up with an excuse of why I'm hanging out with you two, because apparently that's not normal.
That one's
And
a little
this
more
one.
difficult.
Of course. But we've been seeing more of it. Oscar, you know I count you, but also you disappear very often, so I'm like,
Sweet.
Cool.
So, upon leaving, actually, Katura, since you seem to be the one has to go, in the most hurry here, up at the bar, as you all make your exit, you see that Ale, Marie, and Alexa are all talking. And Alexa is sitting there and kind of like chatting it up with them. And she sees you and she's like, are these your this is your friend, right? This is the Katura, Miss Baptiste. Sorry. And Marie is like, yes, that is Katura Baptiste. I just wanted to say hello and pleasure to meet you. You have very interesting friends, and thank you.
Interesting friends in what way?
Marie seems to know like everything about Philadelphia. Is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
She is ingenious and a hard worker. And that's why she is my assistant and confidant.
And Ale has made the best caramel apple martini ever.
She's ingested this.
I'm gonna have to get rid of this at some point, but it was great.
Mhm. Okay, and you're Alexa, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice to meet you, Alexa.
Pushes up her glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I should go. I know you're a busy person. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So you have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
She gets off the stool and shuffles out.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of like link my arm with Marie. Oh yeah, absolutely don't trust. And like be like, we have a house viewing to go to.
Yes, we have
Yeah.
approximately 14 minutes to get there to be perfectly on time.
I think as we're walking, I'm like, have I given you a raise lately?
No, but you should.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I'm sorry. This version of me hasn't done that yet.
Don't be sorry. We can rectify it.
Yeah. So what did Alexa want?
And she goes to answer the question. And she's like looking at you thinking.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have to kill this bitch.
And she I don't remember. We just talked about
Uh-huh.
makeup and
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what we're gonna call this session.
oh no, you touched Marie, you're dead.
Yeah, no, this is the second
Ah.
time. The second time you've messed with my ghoul. This bitch is gonna die. As soon as can I just
Maria's
say this?
strong.
As soon as
I'm just saying, Maria's strong. Not strong enough.
but here's the thing.
Hey.
I think as soon as I realized like she can't remember, I'm texting Serenity and everybody has to be like, next like Aurelio, next time you see that Alexa bitch, let me know. Cause she did something with my ghoul and you might want to check it with Ale.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us for another session of Vampire Masquerade, Philly by Night, or Rolling These 20's, John. As always, I've been your storyteller, and I'm going to let these fine folks tell you who they are and where you can find them, and then we're going to roll out and find someone to rate. So going in reverse order around the table, that would be boop, boop, boop. I don't have the window open.
Serenity.
Thank you. Serenity.
Dynamite. Ivy. You can find me at IVM2757 on Twitter, IVM_57 on TikTok. I have a Ko-fi and an Amazon wishlist for cosplay things, so I might have to update the Amazon thing because I might have bought some stuff for myself. And Nerf54 in chat when you can see me there, and I stream there, or I'm probably gonna just hijack Rolling These 20's at some point, whatever the hell I feel like it.
Sweet. Juice.
I am Juice, no pronouns, just Juice. I've played Aurelio Valentin, he, him, she, her, our Tremere for the group, who is currently off screen, frantically looking through the membership roster for any residential address for Alexa among the library members.
Sweet.
Oh, sorry. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, the Juice TM, and Greater Restoration Thursdays, playing Tales of Faerun as Ocasio, Harangon, Gloomstalker Ranger, who just spilled all of their backstory on the table. Or did he?
Okay. Yeah, be sure to check that out. Mikey Mike's not here, but we'll drop his info in the chat. Lonzo.
Hey, how we doing, everyone? I am Lonzo Gonzo. You can find me here Saturdays playing Oscar de Ponce. You also find me on Twitter at Lonzo Gonzo, and you can find me here on Twitch, Lonzo Gonzo_, where I should be starting to stream maybe tomorrow. I had something for tomorrow that got canceled. Might be going back into Ghost of Tsushima if I remember how to fucking play the game, because it's been over a year. I don't remember the controls. Other than that, yeah, thanks for coming and hang out.
Excellent. Fair.
Hi, I'm Fair, and I've been Couture Baptiste, your now annoyed Hecata. Thursday nights, you could find me also over on the Greater Restoration Crew, 8 p.m. Eastern for Tales of Faerun, where I play Nouvelle Duskdane, your Arcane Trickster Rogue. Fridays, you can find me over on Chaotic Tiefling ATL, also 8 p.m. Eastern for Thirsty Sword Lesbians, where I play Sophia Umpermore, your nervous baby gay nature witch. And then Saturdays, you can find me here, of course. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. That's how you'll know what I'm doing when I'm doing it, because that's also how I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Fantastic. Liz.
Hey, I'm Liz, Fuzzy Slippers 05, wherever you want to find me. Mostly I am here on Wednesdays for Trauma Team and whatever other silliness we decide to put on Wednesdays. And then obviously on Saturdays, where I play your perpetually nervous La Sombra.
Sweet.
And on TikTok.
Yes. Follow Liz's TikTok. Liz makes recap videos.
Recap galore, and also cool facts about the kid.
Yep. And I have been your storyteller Prince, also known as Dimples and Dice around the internet, and that is where you can find me at Dimples and Dice, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all those social sites except Facebook. Fuck that place. Let's see. I have a whole plethora of things that I do. I'm on a show on Tuesday nights over on the Amphitheater for D&D 5e, where we're playing in the Red Wall universe. We should be back for Trauma Team Chronicles this coming week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on this channel. Thursday, you can catch me over on Fayforge Academy at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time, where I am playing another D&D campaign called The Reclamation Project, where we are a bunch of characters who have lost things that have made them essentially D-level. My character is just level 4, and I used to be a level 20 warrior, fighter, person. It's been a journey, especially with my son living in my sword. Anyway, and y'all should come tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or watch it on YouTube if that works best for you, to see Wayward Revelry, a D&D 5e campaign that I am the storyteller DM for, based in Wild Beyond the Witchlight, with some tweaks and twists and turns that I've added. So if you're up and at 'em tomorrow morning around that time, come see us. And I think that's it for me. So we are going to go and find someone to rate. But again, we thank all of you for being here. And I think, yeah, let's go and raid someone new. There's another VTM game going on, and it seems to be decent enough from what I'm seeing here. We're gonna go raid the Dice Cult. They're doing a VTM game. I haven't been there before, but we're gonna show love to the family. So we're gonna see y'all over there. Thank you all again. Have a wonderful night.
Thank y'all for getting us over 400 followers.
Have
Yes.
fun.
Appreciate y'all getting us over 400. Much
We
appreciated.
did it.
All right, let's do the thing. What? No, not the starting screen. It's supposed to be the ending scene. God damn it.